Yo, what's going on? What's going on, all of you happy hashers out there? We're going to be going over something. If you never heard about this, maybe this might be a new concept to you. Have you ever heard of the shift indicator? It's a time and tested true indication of the state of Bitcoin. Let's dig in. Yo! Yo, crypto nation and mining family, what's going on out there? What's up? What's going on, all you happy hashers? We got the Deadwood coming in first with the clutch. Yo, got Gundy stuff and things. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Popping on in here, and I'll take a few moments before the YouTube lets everybody know that I'm live, unless I'm being shadow banned some more. if I'm being shadow banned, beat the notification and go put this out on your favorite social media. And while you're doing all that good stuff, smash that lizardy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff helps out with the YouTube algorithm so that I can get more of this awesome knowledge out to more of you awesome people. Yo. What's going on, John Germain? What up, what's up? How are all of you doing on this hump day? Wednesday. Got that hump day feeling, that midweek. So, if you FA in the chat, if you feeling like it is definitely a hump day feeling today. Today, it's like it started off a little bit chilly, and it's actually piped out to be a pretty decent day. Got windows open in the house and stuff like that. It's like got up into the 70s for a little bit, and from here, temperature should be dropping. I've been able to turn off fans out in that. I'm turning fans off in the mining room because, dude, it's not even hot. I mean, it's like I've had the least amount of rigs in the mining room in a very long time. I was actually able to turn off my ceiling fan. I haven't done that in years. That poor ceiling fan was like, help me, please let me turn it off. Nobody warned me about this. Yeah, buddy, man, I got every dollar out of that fan. Yo. Gundy coming in with the all the choppers. Get in the chopper. It's like mid 80s here. Nice. Not too bad. Mid 80s. That could be AC weather unless it's like super dry. And then I don't mind 80 degrees if it's like not humid. Mid, 80, 85, bro, I can even handle 90s as long as it's, right around that 20% humidity. That dry heat feels better because, like, at least if you sweat, it does something. Yo, mining huddle. What's going on, my dude? What's going on? All right, so let's go ahead and get right on in it, guys. So, today, my Wednesdays are more about looking at what in the world is going on in the markets. Not just, hey, it's all about crypto mining, all that good stuff. It's kind of like a little break in between all the mining. What the hell just happened? OBS Studio dropped. Doesn't look like anything happened. I do not that was weird. My computer did weird stuff there for a second. What's going on, Crypto Nico? It's like, you still alive? Cool. Awesome. I just watched OBS have a glitch. It didn't look like it glitched in OBS, but my computer said it did. Whatever. All right, so it's like today, Wednesdays, I like to break it up with a little bit of that market fundamentals. This way we have an idea of what's going on. This is not about trading. This is not about, what the price of Bitcoin's going to be tomorrow. I can care less about a lot of those traits. I'd rather sit there and understand where the market is going to be heading, because whatever direction it's pointed is the direction it's going to go, right? So let's look at what direction it's pointing at. This way we have a better idea of the potential of where it's going to go. And we'll go over what I call the shift indicator, guys. If you've never heard of this, you'll get a good kick out of this. So let's dig into the first bit of this stuff today. And bam. Oh, bam. All right, so Coinbase expands to Australia to focus on institutions into the coming months. Not government so much, institutions, but they're looking at companies. Big companies trying to adopt it. If you guys don't know, Australia has a huge adoption with that sweet Bitcoin. It's not that it's ever was considered legal tender in any way, shape, or form. I've talked to a lot of people out in Australia, and I find it absolutely fascinating. They've got more ATMs, Bitcoin ATMs out there than they do any credit card ATMs in the whole country. They've got a really strong mass adoption. Almost every shop out there accepts Bitcoin. So seeing that Coinbase is just looking at it as a booming market for Bitcoin, and they're going to sit there and try to swoop in there and flood it with a bunch of shit coins, right? I wonder how much regulation that they'll get, but we know that Coinbase has no problem. They will, they already told people that they are working with the Canadian government. So if Canada has a Canadian citizen and they say seize his assets, Coinbase will seize the assets that are locked up on their exchange, because it's their Bitcoin at that point. And they will provide the same services going to Australia. So hopefully the people are smart enough to just continue to utilize the ATMs and give the middle finger to any centralized controlled entity like Coinbase. It's like as much as I sit there and I tell people, yeah, you can get into Coinbase. It's probably the easiest road for onboarding. Most of the exchanges, and I'll just be forthright on this one, I can't really dog on them too much about that. Any exchange that accepts cash, bank transfers, or credit cards in order to receive payments for crypto, they are going to have to comply with all the local regulations. Otherwise, the regulations will bar them from doing anything in that country. And they will levy heavy fines on them if they, go against these regulations. So they've got to tiptoe into this one. I know that they will end up ultimately doing whatever it is that Australia needs them to jump through, whatever banking regulations to make them, somewhat of a money transmitter. I don't know how Australia set up for investments. I know here in the United States, it's like it's for new coin offerings, you have to be an accredited investor. Otherwise, the SEC comes after you and all that good stuff. So I wonder where they're going to draw the line and say, okay, because Coinbase offers some sketchy fucking coins on their platform as is, right? And it makes me scratch my head on how they got to pass regulations for this. So that was always my wonder, is how certain coins on Coinbase, even here in the United States, how they were able to offer them to, us John Q public. But again, I wonder where Australia's government will draw the line and say, no. these are securities basically, and we don't allow the general public to invest into such lucrative or risky items. And you'll see them maybe stick to a top, the top 5, top 10 coins in the market, and allow those to be offered in nothing else. Be interesting to see how that one rolls out in Australia. I'll keep in contact with a couple of the people that I do know out there in Australia, and see what information pops up as the regulations come out. Maybe I can get some information before it's even printed into the news or anything like that. This has a few different options, and some people might look at it as a negative. I swing both ways on it. It could be positive and negative. Any centralized exchange is always a negative, so we'll put them into that category just right off the bat, right? But for people who are trying to exchange money on and off the market, so if you had family out in Australia and you wanted to send them Bitcoin, you can easily do that already. But if you wanted to have it where they can offload it easier with lower fees, maybe Coinbase could be the road to that. So people have to kind of weigh their options when they do this. There's pros and cons behind all of this. So, I mean, it's just going to be up to how the policymakers in Australia really want to kind of slap them around a little bit here. And then talking about the SEC, guys. Oh, this one's kind of funny. This one made me giggle just a little bit. Kim Kardashian got hit with a $1.26 million SEC fine. You might be wondering why this happened. Basically, she was sitting there shilling a coin called EMAX without disclosing that she was paid $250,000 to post about it. So it was a paid endorsement, and it was not publicly disclosed that it was a paid endorsement. Basically stating that, people had the false idea that Kim Kardashian herself had in fact invested into EMAX, which is a misleading influence for EMAX. I believe even EMAX themselves should be hit with a fine, but yes, Kim Kardashian should know better. She is a business person with the rest of her family. Their family are a bunch of lawyers and a bunch of just they're very business savvy. The Kardashians are not a stupid family by any means. This was definitely a rookie mistake on Kim Kardashian's part. So, I mean, you can sit there and kind of make fun of her a little bit, but, she is a lawyer. Mine and Hodl, I'm wondering about all the Flux promoters on YouTube. Are they disclosing being paid? Now, I'll sit there and even disclose it like this. I know I'm not. I can't speak for anybody else. Yes, I did chill out a little bit of Flux because, bro, I like the Flux wallet. It's pretty cool, I'm just saying. Not to me, that aspect, having a product, I'm looking at it from usability. So I promote it from the standpoint of, hey, look, interesting stuff. Zero, you don't have to have money to participate in this. So it depends on how they really do, how it all really comes along. But I would say that they would have to be if they're being paid to shill it, for the love of God, people, if you're going to get paid and you're going to have a YouTube channel, just say it's paid promotion. It's not hard. It doesn't reflect on you. It's not your problem if it's a paid promotion. Now, if that if that cryptocurrency or whatever project, whatever it is you're promoting, if you're getting paid and you're a big influencer, you have to disclose that. Just because of your huge influence. I will guarantee you, if I ever get paid to sit there and do anything, I will tell you, hey, this is a paid sponsorship from them, but I still will allow my own opinion to still come out. Just because if anybody were to ever, it's never happened, so, but if anybody ever sits there and asks me to promote them, to give them a review, I'm telling you right now, they're going to pay me for a review, and that payment is not a reflection of what my review is going to be. It's going to either be harsh or very nice. So you better, if you're going to come to me with a paid sponsorship of any sort, make sure it's not garbage. Because if I go, I'll take your money, and then I'll sit there and give you 2 thumbs down if that's how the product is. And that's kind of how Kim Kardashian really she should know better on this. This is not her first rodeo. We're all entitled to make mistakes, and her mistake just cost her 1.26. Yo, what up, Budweiser? She's just used to just taking the money and doing what's asked. Some people are kind of like that, you know. Hey, just here, talk about it. Here's $250,000. Can you give me 10 tweets? I never have done that, and never will do that. Yeah, so kind of funny. And there's been a bunch of other people that the SEC has come down on prior to all of this for them doing the same stupid thing. It's like, oh my God. Steven Seagal got hit up in, what was it? What was it? Bitcoin 2? I think that, or yeah, it was something. It was like Bitcoin something. And Steven Seagal got hit up with that. This was like a few years ago. Same thing. You can't be sitting there shilling a straight scam while getting paid for it. You're going to get yourself really kind of the regulations come down on you, and you deserve everything that comes after that. It's like, yeah, I'll give one reason. Oh my God, Gundy, too funny. Budweiser, Kardashian, who? Kim Kardashian. It's like, smart chick, but man, definitely a rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. And here we come to one of my points of the day. You guys want to know about the here, Manhattan, what's up here? SEC ordered Seagal agreed to pay $314,000 in disgorgement and penalties for violating anti-touting provisions of the federal securities law and promoting Bitcoin 2 Gen. Yes, that's it. Yes. Thank you, Mine and Hoddle. I knew he'd gotten in trouble for the same thing. Same thing as Kim Kardashian did with this. It's like, I like to fact check. See, I know what I'm talking about here. Fact check live by my man, Mine and Hoddle. Love it. I thank you, my man, for that. Bro is honest. I try not to talk shit. I really don't. I try to give good information. That's the last thing I need to do is be like, no, bro, you are wrong. And if I am wrong, call me out on it, bro. Give me the information. Send me a link in Discord. I will check it out and be like, I stand corrected. I was totally egregiously wrong. I would rather be fact checked, than be like going around and thinking I've got the right information and maybe something I read was bad information or I understood it in the wrong way at the time. So those are two potential bad things, when I'm trying to get information out to you awesome people. So thank you, Mine and Huddle. So moving on, crypto skeptic Peter Schiff. If you don't know who Peter Schiff is, he is a gold guy. So he has gold stocks, owns stuff with gold mining stocks. He has physical gold, banker that he's now in trouble with Costa Rica. Yeah, that's where he's at. He's having issues in Costa Rica with regulators, with him having part ownership of the bank he helped create. So yeah, he's dealing with a whole bunch of issues, but that's a whole different side topic. His son Spencer Schiff owns Bitcoin and says that if his father gets into Bitcoin, he is out. So hopefully that Spencer Schiff. I'd rather have Spencer Schiff in there because he's giving the middle finger to the man. But he is always thinking that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value of any sort. That Bitcoin will go down to a zero a sum a day. Not knowing when, he says it has no intrinsic value. It has no more value than the US dollar. That's how he looks at it. He looks at the US dollar as being trash because they no longer have dollars backed up by gold, silver, or any kind of basket of metals. The basket of metals was the Bretton Woods system that came about after World War II, which allowed them to do higher deficit spending to pay for war efforts. That was pegged to gold and silver, and when they went to the Bretton Woods system, it allowed them to put cheaper metals into that basket to be able to peg the dollar to. And then by 1971, Nixon took us off the Bretton Woods system, closing the gold door down forever from the United States government moving forward. They never paid anything out in gold after 1971. We can basically say that they took us off the gold standard and put us onto a pure fiat system. That anytime any government has gone to a pure fiat system, which is just currency that has no backing behind it, typically lasts about 50 years. Currencies in general last, when it comes down to money from a particular issuance of a government, lasts about 250 years. It's kind of surprising that this all kind of correlates for about, depending on how you want to look at the dates on there, but anywhere from 2028 to 2035 is where both of those windows come together. So we are over 50 years on a fiat system. Fiat systems typically do not last more than 50 years. We are now on borrowed time. And we'll get into some of this stuff in just a second here. But he sits at Peter Schiff, and this is where my Schiff indicator comes in, right, guys? This is the Schiff indicator. This man comes out on the Twitter, and every time he's on Twitter, he talks trash about that sweet Bizzity a bit of coin. Peter the Gold Guy, yes. Yeah, it was officially closed, but he signed it out for government to government in 71. There's no gold window. Whenever we went under the Bretton Woods system, our convertibility for people here, citizens of the United States, The window is already done and over with. They've outlawed the citizens from owning gold here in the United States. It's actually illegal to own gold. I'm just going to put it out there like that. It is illegal for U.S. citizens to own gold. That is property of the United States government. You can't make this shit up. They stole everybody's gold in lieu of paper notes. I remember Cladcoin. Oh, yeah. So what he comes out with, he's like, Bitcoin has traded sideways ever since it's crashed down below $20,000, but it hasn't rallied. Now, if this was gold, he'd be like, this is a time to buy. This is a good thing. It's holding its neckline here. It's put its foot down. He'd be praising gold, and it would be only hitting $2,000 per ounce, right? $2,000 an ounce. If it held there for any significant amount of time, he'd be like, this is just established the ground floor. It's not going to go any lower than this, right? That would be his thinking on it. But because he's anti-Bitcoin, pro-gold, I don't understand why. I think both of them are good. It's like there is a lot of selling pressure around 20,000. There are still some people trying to buy it around that same level too. So you've got that kind of battle going on between the people that are trying to buy it just below 20,000 and the people who want to sell it above 20,000. But don't let that lure you into a false sense of security, he said. If this was Bitcoin, if this was gold and not Bitcoin, he'd be like, this is the battle. He's like, just keep buying that gold. He's like, eventually the bear, the bulls are win over the bears, right? So he's like, it's Bitcoin's most likely to hit all the way back down to $5,000. Man, I would fucking mortgage my house if it hit $5,000. I'd be like, babe, we're not going to be able to sell the house. And she's going to be like, why? And I'll be like, I just took out a second mortgage. Sorry. Not sorry. Whenever Bitcoin rockets off, we'll pay the house off. But he goes on, he's like, but Bitcoin, the bottom is going to drop out of the market just because it's temporarily stopped falling. That's when what bear markets do, they kind of trap you in there. So he thinks this is a bear trap. They give you a false sense of hope that the lows are in and we get another big leg. Maybe we'll end up spending a lot of time around 10,000, he added. Now, he's good with a lot of market movements. But he's just, at this point, his bias is so strong. He can't see the chart beyond his biasness. He will always, if he looks at a Bitcoin chart, he looks for the bear potential. Well, me and you, we're going to sit there and look at the upside potential. So we are looking at the same chart with two different data sets. His data set is only going to show it pointed down. Oh, look, it has a big potential to just keep on going. And considering that there's nothing backing it, it's like, bro, there are a lot of stuff backing up Bitcoin at this point. You have a lot of infrastructure, capital going into it, energy being utilized, computers, all this stuff going into that busy Bitcoin, plus a whole community of people that are bringing in mass adoption. You don't see that same sense of rally behind gold. You get these older gold bug guys. Now, I'm not sitting there dogging on gold at all, but you don't have that same enthusiasm of people going, let's spend it. It's like if you want to look at gold as anything outside of an investment and something you put into your investment portfolio, you're really just looking at just some pieces of metal. And I use a lot of this stuff whenever I'm doing connections and stuff like that with stereo systems. All my connections were gold connections. Gold is a great property of conducting electricity. So it's like outside of an industrial use case, gold at this point is nothing more than just a precious metal, right? It has no other use case other than to sit there and be pretty, or being used as jewelry, or being put into in an industrial use case, whether you're doing competition stereo systems, putting them in, there's a ton of gold in this phone. We're talking industrial use cases. Yeah, industrial use cases will drive prices up, but to what degree? So I mean, it's and his whole fundamental behind it is the same. I mean, you can use his argument right back up onto gold. So I mean, it really kind of his arguments are really kind of silly overall, because every argument he has, you can sit there and slap onto gold at the same time. There's nothing backing it other than people speculating that it'll go up. It's only old people buying it, where he's like only young people are buying it. I mean, it's like you're just looking at two sides of the same coin of new age versus, the old way of doing things. Are both right or wrong? No, I think they're both right for all the same reasons. I think the argument from the gold bug sides is just kind of ridiculous. Some of the Bitcoin argument against gold is ridiculous too. But there's some things that Bitcoiners do make a valid point on. It's like, okay, you got all your wealth in gold, go leave the country. We'll see how much money you come out with on the other side. It's like, so there are some things that Bitcoin is good for, some things that gold is good for. But him just always dogging on it. But anytime I hear him dogging on it, usually that's when I see it fucking start lifting back up. It usually rallies off of it. Like, he starts looking at that bearish indication when it's done. He's like, oh, it can go down from here. Look at this. Look. It already went down. So it can just go down a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And it's like, bro, you just sat there and called the bottom damn near. Your tweets come within hours of the bottom. So it's like, I have bought $10 worth of Bitcoin. I'll be transparent on this one. I usually do $10 worth of Bitcoin. Every time he has a bearish tweet. And sure as shit, I would say that he is a 75 to almost 80% success rate. Like, save my view time for the GPU. Jesus, yo. See what you guys are all going on to. It's like I'll sell my 5K. Start up at OnlyFans. You'll need an M's purple pimp suit. Oh yeah, dude, that thumbnail was amazing, bro. Even, you know what, Gundy, I don't think it needs to be done at this point. Proof of work with Bitcoin has solved the necessity of having to have a physical commodity backing the network. What backs the network is pure security. Security and energy are the two biggest commodities that the world has ever seen, So that is value right there. Everything that Bitcoin network, you don't need to have a gold-backed crypto. To me, if it's gold-backed, that means it's got an outside source of manipulation. Gold and silver has been heavily manipulated by the banks for decades. It was like 1980, 1981-ish, somewhere right around there. Gold and the US dollar recrossed each other before fiat just like rocketed out, and then gold just kind of flatlined out. There was a point where they could have repegged the dollar back to gold, and they chose not to. And when they let this deficit spending go beyond the price of gold, that was when the SEC opened up certain trading pairs on gold that helped suppress the price since 1980. Gold and silver. I mean, look at silver. Silver has never hit its all-time high of the 1980s. It's like, tell me that how manipulated do you have to manipulate silver to ensure that it will never recover from its all-time high? It never did. Gold printed out new all-time highs, but silver never did. So I mean, like, the market is heavily manipulated, so you really don't want something that can be traded in the stock market, because people don't realize that they have futures contracts and spot Bitcoin, spot gold, and futures contracts on gold, right? And then you got gold mining stocks. These three areas are highly like gold mining stocks. Gold miners rarely make money, so gold mining stocks is a losing deal. Then you have your spot gold, which that's pretty cool. You buy into this spot ETF, and the spot ETF has to buy gold 1-to-1 of what's in their ETF. I like that. So they own physical gold. Now, futures. This is where it becomes manipulated. You can have 3 or 4 people on the same futures contract. So you have 1 ounce of gold that has the potential of having 5, 6 fucking owners. So now you have a highly leveraged gold portfolio, and you have people doing short sales. You have them doing naked blind sales, and these things just ultimately suppress the price. Like the naked shorts, like that instrument is something that the SEC should never have allowed in the first place. They're basically selling an item that they don't even own. So the market thinks that there's a sell order and that's waiting to mature, right? And at the last second, they pull it off and then they re-put it back on so that they get another 48 hours with it. That in itself, if you were to sit there and look at a chart and you saw a $4 million sell pressure on top of a commodity or whatever it is that you're looking to get into, if you saw a $4 million sell versus a $250,000 buy-in, you're going to sit there and be like, oh my God, this is about to implode, right? There's more sell pressure than there is buy pressure. This is a perfect storm of keeping the price forever low. Gold has had this coming on from the banks. The banks have been sitting there, like JP Morgan has been manipulating the gold and silver market for 40 years, guys. So until regulators stop the manipulation, the allowal of the manipulation on the market, I would rather sit there and take some Bitcoin over gold. So whenever I see Schiff, aka my Schiff indicator, so whenever my Schiff indicator prints in for a bear market, that is for me time to trigger in a DCA, dollar cost average. I buy up $10 of that sweet visiting Bitcoin. So interesting stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, you saw more shares sold than existed. Exactly. It was Lehman Brothers, I believe. Lehman Brothers went bust. JP Morgan bought Lehman Brothers. They had the largest naked short sell, and it almost took out JP Morgan. And you had a guy named Max Kaiser sitting there with a bunch of other people going buy silver, short squeeze the investor, buy silver now, take physical silver in today. And that whole movement of take silver now almost took out one of the largest sellers of silver in the market. And subsequently, JP Morgan had to sit there and actually buy this physical silver. So JP Morgan is actually one of the largest silver owners in the world. One of them. I'm not saying he's the largest, but he's one of the larger ones in the world. He has a noticeable net worth of the company of JP Morgan in silver because of Lehman Brothers. So I think at this point he has learned his lesson, and he makes sure that for every dollar he trades on his desk, he has a sizable portion of it on hand. Yeah, my JPM stock is trash. Oh yeah. JP Morgan, the banking system is not a profitable business. It's not. If you are one of the higher up investors, and I'm not talking somebody on the stock market. Nope. We're talking the people that can actually participate in with the central bank system. Those people are the ones that are profiting off of all of these banks. You have to be part of the central bank gang in order to be profitable in any market out there. These are the ones these people are also picking and choosing winners and losers. Countries that do good, countries that crash. They have a huge influence on stuff. And here we have, this is a perfect segue into this one. Talking about the central banking system. For us in the United States, that is the Federal Reserve, guys. So we have the Federal Reserve. The UN warns the Fed to cool rate hikes. The UN. Because if the U.S. keeps on doing rate hikes, they're making it harder and harder for other countries to obtain more dollars. All these other countries need our U.S. dollars. And it's some of the reasons why we've been lowering the interest rate on those dollars. Because at the low interest rates, because you tell me if you can get yourself, whenever the market went at its low, I think it was at 0.21% of an interest rate on a loan for U.S. dollars. This was for newly created U.S. dollars. Nobody here was getting sub 1 cent interest rate loans getting U.S. dollars. This is something that they give to countries. So that these countries can take in these dollars cheaply and be able to function with the rest of the world, right? So as the Federal Reserve continues to do rate hikes, it's not just affecting us. I mean, take for instance, the UK, right? The UK, they just had to go back into quantitative easing, where they are dropping interest rates out, and they are loosening up monetary policies to allow more deficit spending. Why? Because they can't get their hands on enough dollars. As long as they pegged higher than the US dollar, they can run smaller deficits. But at the rate that they are now starting to run larger deficits. And it's not too far after the Fed raised 75 basis points. 0.75% is all that Federal Chairman Jerome Powell raised, was 75 basis points. And we already see other countries almost immediately feeling the pain of this. This is the issue with pegging your currency to another country's currency. So if it becomes more expensive to get those dollars, it's going to hit everybody else relatively quickly. And then they're going to sit there and say, oh, but it's not our fault that stuff's getting more expensive. It is the greedy corporations. Not realizing that, oh, I have this part of my business in this country. They had to buy dollars. And those dollars costed them X amount of dollars, right? X amount of interest to get those dollars. And then they had to go spend it over here. And that place had to go take a loan to get more dollars so that they can do operation. And then that all comes over that every country is getting hit with different levels of interest rates, different levels of inflation from their own internal country. This is all affecting commodities that we are consuming on a day-to-day basis, guys. So that's why I think the UN is now kind of stepping up, going, you can't just keep on raising interest rates. The world can't afford this. Either you need to go hit it up from your own people and tax the hell out of your own people to pay for your ridiculous war in the Ukraine, or you need to stop playing war in the Ukraine, and this way you stop bleeding money for no reason. I mean, at this point, all we're doing is trying to incite World War III at this point. And World War III with Putin is not going to be pretty. We are talking about a superpower that our government is like trying to strong arm. And I think that they're going to find out that Putin is more of a bear than our weak ass fucking president. I don't care if China comes into the rescue and our government decides to sell us out to China. It will wipe us off the map. I'm just saying. War with Russia is not in our best interest. This will affect things even worse than the interest rates. And Jerome Powell says that by next year he wants to raise them again another 75 basis points. This is going to bankrupt countries if they go down this route. And if they go to bankrupt other countries, this is not good for a World War III incident, too. I'm just saying. Yeah, Paul Volkner, their asses. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see a Paul Volkner moment. I think he raised it up like 15 basis points, something like that in the 80s, and corrected for it was short-term pain from that, but it needed to happen. It needs to happen. If we keep sitting there telling all these people that they can borrow our dollars for next to nothing, it's going to bankrupt us. And I don't mean the government. It's going to bankrupt me and you. We're the ones that are going to take the hit from this, not the governments. Look at Argentina. They've bankrupted the people several times. So I'm really kind of wondering if we are now at that point where is Jerome Powell willing to do another hike? Is he willing to do that? Because if he crashes the other countries' markets, because all the stock markets are linked to each other in some way, one way, shape, or form, right? If Jerome Powell bankrupts a country and tanks their stock market, it's going to have the trickle-down effect right into our country. I mean, think about it this way. 2008, the housing market crashed, and it affected other countries that had nothing to do with our economy. But because they used our dollars, it screwed them. This is going to be another situation where it happens again. Yo, what up, droid guy? It's like, well, the U.S. Navy blew up Nord Stream 1 and 2. I know. And they took out another one in the, I want to say, in the Middle East that nobody's talking about either. Exactly, mine and hodl. We need GPU Jesus to reset the overclocks on interest rates, and it will be short-term pain. I guarantee you it will be short-term but necessary pain. We need 15% interest rates. You want to sit there and you want to get inflation under control? 15% interest rates. Make these people pay their loans back. We should not be rewarding them to kicking the can down the road. Make these fools have to pay the interest. This is a money-making industry. You don't print money without making money. If you're printing money and you're not making money off of that, you're a fool. It's like there is no bank on the planet that's going to sit there and run deficits without profits. And having less than 0.5% profit on $1 million worth of loans? No. That's horseshit. I don't care how much these people try to strong arm. This is just a top-down level scam. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. GPU, Jesus save us. It's like everybody pays interest on loans. So when I put my IRA towards loans, expect payment. Exactly, John. Exactly. And it's like the government is just trying to play Russian roulette with itself and trying to avoid this. They're like, oh, no. Click. It didn't happen this time. We'll do this again in another 10 minutes. It's like, oh my God. And either he forcefully tanks the market, or he's going to kick the can down the road, and it'll take another 5, maybe 10 years, and we're going to see the biggest market crash. It's going to make 1929 look like a walk in the park. We are set up in a far, far, far worse situation today than we were in the 1920s. 1921, we had a mini stock market crash. It wasn't shit because the market wasn't being manipulated by the government. 1929, market crashes again. This time the U.S. steps in. Takes 10 years to recover from it because they manipulated it. They're going to do this again, and if they manipulate it this time, it's just going to kick the can down the road for another 10 years, and I don't think that they're going to be able to stop it when it rears its ugly head once again. We have gone into too high of deficit spendings. Now, for the price of Bitcoin with this can spell good things. Let me explain with that. So, as inflation becomes rampant, right? So if they kick the can down the road and stop the market from tanking, right? And they push it out another 5 to 10 years, right? We're gonna watch Bitcoin just kind of flatline out, trade up and down. Hard to say where the market's really gonna be. That's why I don't day trade or anything like that. But if they keep down this route and we have a good market crash, the dollars are gonna be cheaper, which means it's gonna look like the price of Bitcoin shot through the fucking moon. And Bitcoin still is gonna be equaled 1 Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So all things being the same, all we're watching is the dollar price coming down, and it takes more dollars to go from here to here now. That's what we're seeing now in real time as the Bitcoin market matures here. We're going to sit there and see that we can watch in real time the Bitcoin market fluctuate with each independent country's own local currency. This does that more than gold ever can. If you want to see a country, you want to see a money decouple from a country, you have to also decouple the manipulation off of it. Gold flatlines. No matter where the market really sits, it goes up and down in small little fucking increments, where Bitcoin has wild swings because of the fact that it's accounting for every dollar. It's a unit of account. That's what makes it money. Exactly. As the printers go burr, the more it looks like Bitcoin is worth more money. It's really not. Bitcoin's still worth 1 Bitcoin. You're just watching your local currency drop in value. It's sad. It's a sad era that we are in. But hey, guess what, guys? We're here on the rocket ship. I'm just saying, we're here ready, waiting for this. You know, it's like we are amongst, you know, the doomsday preppers, basically. You know, we're not sitting here getting the, you know, I know some people in the community, they are preppers, which it's fine. You know, certain areas you got to be a prepper almost. You know, like if you live in a tornado area, you want to be prepared. So you're going to have a bug out plan for tornadoes, and all that good stuff, right? Some people take it that, you know, governmental collapse, World War III. Right now, as everybody talks about, you know, World War III, all these bug out people like, ha, we ain't so crazy no more, eh? Which, you know, good for them. You know, I hope it doesn't come down to that radical extreme. I really hope not. But we don't know how crazy our gangbanging government is, so we'll have to see how that works. But as long, you know, but it's with the U.S. Fed sitting there trying to raise interest rates, they actually are controlling other countries' economies. If they were to sit there and raise the interest rates right now again, say 50 basis points, I guarantee you a couple of countries would go back into quantitative easing again, just at 50 basis points. Not big countries, smaller countries, but they'll go back into deficit spending because they can't get enough dollars. We're gonna start watching and if the U.S. keeps on doing what they're doing with the interest rate hiking too, we're going to see other countries turn out to be like Sri Lanka, where they have a complete collapse. Sri Lanka, Argentina is on the basis of another collapse. You know, it's like I'm really kind of curious to see where each one of these countries, how close they're teetering on basically going back into quantitative easing. Because if too many countries fall back into quantitative easing, we're going to have to adopt the same policies just to rescue them. And you think that groceries are expensive now. Just wait until we go back into deficit spending. Every dollar spent has to be accounted for in the market. How many dollars until the price of something raises 1%? How many dollars do they have to print? That's always the question. You know, if they print off $500 million, do you get a 0.5% raise in interest rates? In interest? It's like it'd be really kind of curious to see, you know, what $500 million would do to the market. Would prices go up by 1%? You know, what is that tipping point of printing money? You can see that direct correlation in the marketplace. But I think with the UN, we're like teetering that point of seeing negative results on what they're doing. And I know Jerome Powell's been trying to like diligently like just kind of inch the interest rates from the Federal Reserve at a really slow pace, but they're going to start buying bonds. They're going to start extending bonds. There are some bonds that are about ready to come to maturity from the U.S. government, and if they roll them over, we're back in quantitative easing. There are some people that go QE forever, quantitative easing forever. Once you turn on the spigot, you can't turn it off. That's like sitting there and getting people addicted to fentanyl and then taking it away from them. And watch how crazy they go, you know. Oh, wait a minute. Government's already doing that. So, and then just on the other side of it all, we have the VP from the NASDAQ sitting there going, he wants to offer it in the stock exchange, you know, Bitcoin and stuff like that. But we have regulators not wanting to clarify how they can handle this going forward, because they have it in there basically in order to do this they would be money transmitters, and NASDAQ is not a bank, nor are they going to try to deal with trying to be a bank. It's just too much. I mean, they're dealing with stocks. They don't need to be dealing with KYC, AML laws, Banker Secrecy Act, and stuff like that. You do not need an exchange of any sort to be worrying about stupid regulation like that, like as if they're a bank. So I get that the NASDAQ will not touch this with a 10-foot pole without this either. But before the NASDAQ starts trading this, I would rather see a spot ETF come about versus trying to get getting the NASDAQ involved with cryptocurrency of any sort. I don't care what it is they want to get involved with. We need a spot Bitcoin first before NASDAQ sees this product. I would rather see them not be trading a futures product. And futures products help manipulate the market. So the longer they stay off of the futures market, the better it is for Bitcoin, especially with being in a bear market. If NASDAQ gets clarification and the futures market product gets launched on NASDAQ, we'll probably tank down to about a $5,000 to $10,000 Bitcoin, just like Peter Schiff says. But it would take a catalyst like this to kickstart it. They would need to have massive downward selling pressure on the crypto market from where it's at right now, and a futures market being brought onto the speculating NASDAQ would be something that could possibly trigger that. So I'm glad that it is not on the NASDAQ's to-do list at this point. They have no immediate plans to launching any crypto products on until there's better clarification from the policymakers, which, again, I'm okay with that. I don't care. It's like they don't need to be offering Bitcoin or any kind of futures spot, even funds, like Kathy Woods with ARK, Michael Saylor, any of them. We do not need any of them really investing into Bitcoin in that direction. Let these people just directly own that sweet, busy Bitcoin. I think a lot of the smart money understands that bringing it on the NASDAQ doesn't make any sense. So there's probably no push from their end to get the regulations clarified for them. They're probably like, yeah, we would rather have it not correlated directly with our manipulation. Bitcoin's better than us. I hope that's the attitude that they take. My allergies are kicking my butt today. And then we have stupid stuff coming out that can negatively impact regulations on the market, guys. New frontier of crypto laundering involves cross-chain bridges and DEX. So Curve, Uniswap, 1inch, and the Ren Bridge were a top platform's choice for laundering illegal stolen funds, according to Elliptic. So new research from blockchain analysis and crypto compliance firm Elliptic has revealed to the extent to which cross-chain bridges, decentralized exchanges, DEXs, have removed barriers for criminals. It allows them to do basically swap services and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to stop this. So the only thing they can do is just kind of try to track it going in there. But once it's in those swap services, it's done. And they're just hating the idea that, this is supposed to be a public ledger, so we should be able to see everything. And then there's ways to kind of circumvent that a bit, and they're like they cry over it. So they had a report that Elliptic had came out where they'd shown that cyber criminals have been using cross-chain bridges, DEXs, and coin swaps to obfuscate at least $4 billion worth of illegal crypto proceeds since the beginning of 2020, it reported. I'm okay with that. It's like catch the criminal in the middle of the act. Don't worry about how he's sitting there and moving his money around. I mean, if he were to steal cash, it would be untrackable. It's just because they're using crypto doesn't mean you can't have untrackable. They just don't like it when it's all up in their face, because now they can track you untracking it. So delving further into the details, the report noted that half of the illicit funds it identified were swapping directly through two DEXs, Curve and Uniswap, with the 1-inch aggregator protocol coming at a close third. A similar amount of around 1.2 billion has been laundered using coin swap services that allows users to swap assets within and cross different networks without having an account. Yay! I love those. I love those services. Many are advertised on Russian cybercrime forums. Bro, you can find anything advertised anywhere. I mean, come on. Like you could sit there and just talk about something in front of your phone and have your face, if you're on Facebook, put your Facebook app on and just talk about something really weird, and you'll start getting advertisements for that for the next week. You'll hate the idea that that's how it works. So if somebody's sitting there and already into crypto, it's more likely that they're going to get advertisements from cryptocurrency stuff. If they're gold users, they'll rarely see anything crypto related unless it's a platform that only does crypto related stuff. That's different. Again, you're talking it's pinpointing a market. Don't hate the people for knowing where their audience is. Wallets connected to groups eventually sanctioned by the United States include those used by North Korea to perpetuate a multi-million-dollar cyber attacks, have been laundered more than 1.8 billion through such techniques, and they will continue to do this from here until the end of time. They will not be able to even remotely stop this from happening. It is what it is, right, guys? And last but not least, guys, it looks like Papa Elon is going to have to buy Twitter. Well, he's going to buy it. So anybody that bought into Twitter stocks while they were nice and low, congratulations. It's about to skyrocket. You're about to see a payout on your stocks. So he is. I'm not sure what the game was behind him. If he was just trying to expose how much bots are on there and try to get Twitter themselves to clean up the bot aggregate. But we'll have to see if he decides to bring this private. That will be an interesting one. I know he was talking about bringing the company private and redoing a lot of the internals into redoing the inner workings of how Twitter works. Make it more of the town square where people have a voice, whether you like that voice or not. If that person says something offensive or not, you do not have the right to eliminate somebody's voice because they speak something that you do not like, you found offensive. If you found it offensive and you don't like it, you have the choice to not listen to it. but you don't have the right to silence that said voice too. So, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I understand where Twitter's coming from, where it's Twitter's their company. They can allow whatever they want to happen on their utilizing their platform, right? They don't have to worry about a constitution in any way, shape, or form. They censor upon what the government tells them to censor. They do not believe in free speech. They will allow you to speak badly about. You could speak badly and violently about people they don't like, and that's okay. But you cannot say anything about that goes against their narrative. And something like that, I hope Elon's able to fix. That would be good for stock shareholders if they can bring back consumer confidence and unlock and also unban the people just because they said something that you don't like. Something that was highly offensive is not a bannable offense. They still have every right to say what they want, no matter how offensive or how hateful it may or may not be. The First Amendment was put there for a reason, and I think that if Elon restores the First Amendment to Twitter, I think Twitter's price evaluation will go up. And Elon wasn't even trying to make money off of this acquisition. So I think he was just trying to get them to simplify what he needed to clean up on there, I bet. While he also took time, I think, to talking to some of because like in order to take the company private, he's got to be majority shareholder. Well, what if he were to sit there and tell people, oh, well, you just hold on to your stock and we'll take it private. When we bring it back, your stock options will be worth more. I guarantee it. He could have sat there and gave them a deal that some of the bigger investors a deal that they could not refuse. With him taking over on there, he has a potential of cleaning it up if his intentions are correct, are pure. So I don't think he was kicking the tires to see if he can renegotiate. I don't think the renegotiation was anything. I think that he was trying to make a point that Twitter was like, oh, we don't have that many bots on Twitter. And he was like, really? Bet. I think he was sitting there forcing them to show the data aggregate that shows where they get their information from. And now that he's got that information in a more readable format, I bet you that they're like, okay, now we know how to clean up everything. We'll move forward now. And I bet you they have the investor's blessing to do what he's about to do next. I think this is a power move from him. It'd be interesting if he made like Doge and Bitcoin the inner currency for Twitter. Doge to $1. Can we start that trend again? Doge to $1? Oh, Doge to $1, right? Remember those days, guys? Doge to $1. I guarantee you that if the moment he officially goes into signing the contracts for it, we'll start seeing the pop-up of Doge to $1. So check that out, guys. We will see it. Doge to $1. People coming back out once Elon buys this. We know that he's friendly to Doge. We know he's friendly to Bitcoin. Even though he wants to sit there and dog on that sweet busy Bitcoin. He says, oh, it's not energy efficient. I don't like it. I think he's being puppeted a little bit by the company. He's got certain things he's got to say. Certain things that the company is allowed to do, being a publicly traded company. And on top of that, he gets federal subsidies, so he gets taxpayer money, keeps his company going. So there's certain things that he can do and certain things he cannot do. So depending on how the regulations are at his level, it could negatively impact if he's trying to get more subsidies so that he can blast off more rockets into space, right? So we'll have to see what the long game is. Does Elon Musk bring back Jack Dorsey? That'd be a good one. Even though Jack Dorsey went to go mine Bitcoin. That's what the old CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, he went off to go mine Bitcoin. So, and I know that Elon was talking with Jack Dorsey about, kind of collaborating with Twitter to make it what he envisioned Twitter to be originally. So yeah, we'll have to see how that all goes. I see that we are over that 1 hour marker, guys. If you guys got any other comments or questions, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, definitely smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you like this kind of content, I do this stuff, this type of content every Wednesday. So if you don't like learning about some of the macro environments that influence why your Bitcoin is shooting up or shooting down, these are the things that go into it. It doesn't always have to have a direct correlation to Bitcoin itself to affect it in the long term. All markets are kind of interconnected with each other. So just kind of remember that, it's like you want to say, people say that Bitcoin is uncorrelated. That is a false narrative. If a company owns a lot of Bitcoin and they are forced to sell it because their company's having an issue, and it's because they can't get loans cheaper, they now have to start selling off. These things have secondary and third trickle down effects down the ladder of a ripple going through a pond. So all markets are affected if there's a big enough of a ripple. There are times where a small little ripple only affects a few things. But the rest of the time, you will find that a big ripple will affect Bitcoin either before it happens or right after, So with that, it's like, guys, make sure you got strong diamond hands with the sweet Bizity Bitcoin. I don't think, in my opinion, that it's going to be going anywhere anytime soon, guys. Unless there's some kind of big catalyst event that happens within the markets. I don't think that we will see the downward pressure. My shift indicator says that we're going to be going up. So with the shift indicator being right at least 75% of the time, I think we've held the ground floor here. We faltered below 20,000. I believe we're going to be just kind of trending within this little neckline until the rest of the markets figure out what the hell it's going to do next, right? And then we'll see the beginning of the next bull run. So with that being said, guys, definitely if you want to be if you're new here, if you want to be part of the Discord, links down below. It's free, guys. Love to have you part of the fam. If you would like to support this show and everything that I do, certainly check out the Patreon links down below too. Helps me out. And getting into the pseudo hasher tier helps you out if you want to be hosting with the family mind, guys. So definitely everybody drop those FAs in the chat because all you guys are rated F for fucking awesome. Yo! And with that being said, guys, peace out. And of course, stay savage. Yo! Oh.